Welcome. I'm Dr. Costanzo. I'm a professor of physiology at the Virginia Commonwealth University School of Medicine. And I'm really happy to be with you. I was asked to talk about preparing for the rigors of medical school. So let's get started. The idea is that you really can hit the ground running in medical school. You can be successful from day one, and it's just a matter of identifying what it will take to get there. I think the first step in this process really is thinking about and understanding what medical school will require of you. Some have likened the medical school experience to drinking from a fire hydrant. What is meant by that analogy, and maybe you've heard that said before, is that it's not so much the challenge or the difficulty of the science or the application of the science that's so much greater than what you did as an undergraduate, but the volume in medical school is so great, and it's unrelenting and it's unforgiving pace. So what it means when you're a medical student is that you are going to have to work consistently, you're going to have to work day in and day out, and you're going to have to prioritize, and you're going to have to prioritize every single day, which means studying first and playing later. The procrastination that you did as an undergraduate is unfortunately incompatible with medical school success. So I think knowing what you're up against is the first step, because you can actually prepare for what you're going to face in medical school. And I think there are definitely ways that you can ensure your success when you get to this point. The first area of preparation, which you can do while you're an undergraduate, and I think you really should, is to strengthen your academic background as much as you possibly can, especially in the sciences. The shortcuts that may be very appealing really aren't going to work out. If you take shortcuts as an undergrad, they're going to come back to bite you in medical school. So while it may be tempting to take that easy professor in physics because supposedly his tests contain questions that are very, very basic and he probably practically gives you the answers ahead of time, the bottom line is you're not going to learn enough physics to really carry forward to medical school. So resist that temptation. I think that you can actually simulate the high level and the high volume of medical school while you're an undergraduate, and that's one of the best preparations you can do. How would you simulate that? Well, number one, you would take always a rigorous load. Every semester, try to prepare a schedule that really will challenge you. Take tougher sections, as I mentioned before. Take the professors that are reputed to teach well but test hard and that expect a lot of you. And be really careful about putting fluff into your schedule, because while it can be very appealing, it really dilutes the load and gives you, I think, a false sense of security. Especially the final point is that as a senior in your last year, you really want to put together a schedule that will allow you to end strong. And so take advantage of everything that your university has to offer. Advanced coursework in your areas of passion and interest, and really end your college or undergraduate career and strong and on a strong trajectory to medical school. The opposite, I guess, would be that you have a pretty light senior year, which some might recommend as a good idea, but I think the downside of that is you really you end your career kind of on a lower note, and perhaps would regret later that you didn't take advantage of some of the excellent coursework that you could have done while you were an undergraduate. It's sort of your last chance to do some of those things. The second area where I think you can really prepare yourself for the rigors of medical school is in that you can practice prioritizing. I think that you, as an undergraduate, for example, can study and work and do volunteer activities on a schedule. So I would recommend getting a planner if you don't already have something like that, and literally map out every day or block out every day the time that you're going to be in class, the time that you're going to be studying, and the time that you're going to be doing community or volunteer activities, and the time that you're going to protect also for fun and relaxation and time with friends. So that that relaxing time really is a reward for doing all the hard work. And what you'll find if you start to study on a schedule is that you get more done. You do more of everything. You do more studying, you do more of community and voluntary activities, and you have more fun. It's amazing what happens when you actually schedule your time. And sort of along with that, practice good decision making and good choices. As you practice these things, they become habitual. They become your identity. So that's the second area, I think, where you really can prepare yourself for medical school and simulate what's going to be expected of you in medical school, where studying on a schedule is the most common approach to managing the volume of material. Final area, I think, where you can prepare yourself for the rigors of medical school, and maybe this will surprise you, is in the area of extracurriculars. Everybody should have something outside of their schoolwork that they're doing, where they have some responsibility, where they're giving back, whether they're giving back to the university community or the community at large or their friends. So find some areas where you have a passion, where you're interested, and take a position of responsibility, or work in a group in a service activity, or serve as a tutor or a TA. And what you'll find is that this, again, kind of simulates the juggling act that you're going to have to do once you get to medical school and out in the real world, where it's not just classes, but it's a lot of other responsibilities that you're simultaneously trying to manage. And what you'll find as you start to put all these things on your plate is that your maturity and your level of responsibility is going to grow. The other thing about including extracurriculars in your life is that it forces you to choose your areas of interest so that you won't be spread too thin. And it forces you to think about your own priorities. And that's going to be such an important skill as you go forward into medical school, where you're not going to be able to do everything that you want to do. You're not going to be able to contribute to all the worthy causes, but you're going to have to pick a few that are of greatest meaning to you. And the final point on your extracurriculars is that to do a good job in whatever it is. Quality in all of your activities. And I think when you do that, it becomes your identity. You become identified with a good job, and it raises your self-esteem and your sense of self-worth, which is such a vital quality. The bottom line is you can do it. It's in your hands. You can prepare yourself for the rigors of medical school in the choices that you're making now. And while there might be an easier route, I think in the end you'll be glad that you selected, rigorous coursework, that you learned to prioritize, and that you put some good extracurriculars on your plate that forced you to start simulating this juggling act that I was talking about. So lots of luck, and I wish you well.